Hello. How good it is to have you with us here on Red Barn Radio. I'm Brad Becker. We continue to celebrate the 20th season of Red Barn Radio, and tonight we welcome you to show number 781. A couple of months ago, I had my first conversation with this week's guest, a great Kentucky singer-songwriter who writes some really powerful music. Lance Rogers, who currently lives in Berea, has opened for a number of Red Barn alums, from Arla McKinley to Justin Wells. Lance recorded his 2021 self-titled debut album, Down the Street, with Mr. Dwayne Lundy, thanks to a Kickstarter campaign driven by a fast-growing fan base who loves the grit in Lance Rogers' voice and the honesty in his lyrics. We're so glad to have Lance Rogers tonight on Red Barn Radio. Thank you.
Heavens opened up, and I heard him say her name. I could see a fingerprint etched into the rain. Lightning flashing in my mind, somehow it's just the same. The way I felt when she came near with her fire flame, her fire and flame. Her fire flame. Game. This fire flame. Saw her from across the field, she saw it in my eyes. Floated over in a cloud, timber she did ignite. Told me she was a little cold, I knew that was a lie. Right to have been accused of being an angel in disguise of fire and flame. This fire and flame. Burning it down with the queen of the underground. This ain't no game, this fire and flame. Mountains melted down, then rose back up again. Dams they broke and washed away all the valley's little sins. Bodies floating all around, but they blowing in the wind. It's time to ride off in the breeze, light it up and start again. This fire and flame. This fire and flame. Burning it down with the queen of the underground. This ain't no game, this fire and flame. Burning it down with the queen of the underground. This ain't no game, this fire and flame. The heavens opened up, and I heard him say her name. Let's go fire and flame.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Banner Music in Nashville says of Lance Rogers' lyrics, they are both pure and descriptive. of his voice. They say he is gritty and soulful. Angela Oldfield, host of Bluegrass Breakout on WSKV, Irvine, Kentucky, calls Lance's new album just an amazing piece of work. Tonight's guest, Lance Rogers, draws from his blue-collar roots, the love of his Kentucky home in the Bluegrass region, and the heart of his varied musical influences to craft songs that appeal to story lovers everywhere. His songs touch a great range of emotions. We loved listening to his new album, and we are so glad to have Lance Rogers with us tonight on Red Barn Radio.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to be here. I've been the audience member several times and seen a bunch of my buddies play here. But here I am playing a brand new song I just wrote, due to be released, called Pretty Gone. Last time that I saw her, she was flipping me the bird. You would have thought she was a sailor, was the worst I'd ever heard. This time she took a toothbrush, what the hell did I do wrong? She was the prettiest one I've ever had, but now she's pretty gone. Pretty gone, I saw her auburn hair waving me goodbye. Pretty gone, I filled my glass, I ball almost start to cry. Pretty gone, it's a shame to let us in, get away. Pretty gone, now it's my turn to get pretty gone today. Could have been my drinking that made her up and leave. She wasn't good for conversations, only looking good for me. Man, she was a beauty, I hope she comes back again. The way she looked, she stormed out, make a dead man rise again. Pretty gone, I saw her auburn hair waving me goodbye. Pretty gone, I filled my glass, I bawled, almost start to cry. Pretty gone, it's a shame to let us in, get away. Pretty gone, now it's my turn to get pretty gone today. Pretty gone, I saw her auburn hair waving me goodbye. Pretty gone, I filled my glass, I ball almost start to cry. Pretty gone, it's a shame to let us in, get away. Pretty gone, now it's my turn to get pretty gone today. Pretty gone, thank you. This next song is called Long White Line. I found out my great uncle Buford Abner wrote this one. Made famous by Sturgill Simpson. I don't wanna be around this old town anymore for a long, long time. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. I woke up, my baby was gone. Without her, don't need a home. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. Went to the bank, get my dough. I don't care where I go. Gonna push this regular, push that girl out of my mind. And if somebody wants to know what's coming this so-and-so, tell them I'm somewhere looking for the end of that long white line. Tell them I'm somewhere looking in the so-and-so. Still I'm on somewhere looking for the end of that long white line. Still I'm on somewhere looking for the end of that long white line. I don't wanna be around this old town anymore for a long, long time. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. Gonna hit the road and start looking for the end of that long white line. Thank y'all so much. This next song is one that I wrote with Cody Howard. He's out of Harlan, Kentucky. That's one of my favorite songs. He put it on his album. I'm probably going to put it on my next one. This one's called Another Line, Another Life. She said, I hate the way you talk about yourself and the way you sing those songs about someone else. And I hate the way you use those stupid words and overplay the songs that no one's heard. I loved her for a minute, I suppose. Feelings always change as you grow. And falling leaves remember the light. Oh, that was another life. Then she slipped her lipstick back into her purse and jumped off the bridge of some forgotten verse. I heard the outro from the very first words she spoke. Sometimes you hear the punchline, then forget the joke. But I loved her for a minute, I suppose. Feelings always change as you grow. And falling leaves remember the light. Oh, that was another life. On nights like these, I choose to walk alone. And I'll find some place to play my stupid songs, thinking about the B-side from our record pressed in luck. Sometimes the album art is better than the cuts. But I loved her for a minute, I suppose. Feelings always change as you grow. And falling leaves remember the light. Oh, that was another life. Falling leaves remember the light. Oh, that was another life. Thank y'all so much. I'm gonna do a quick tune real quick. That last song, make sure you check out Cody Howard. He's a great singer-songwriter. He's got a couple albums out there and just putting out some great stuff. This next song is called Motorbike. This one is it's kind of about living life how you want to live it. take another round. I'm gonna need to stop still just up ahead, refill my empty soul, stretch my legs a while, revive my empty head, but for now, it's time to roll. Cause I'm just trying to live, I'm not trying to die, but sometimes I don't ask why. Maybe on the other hand, I should just slow down and plant both my feet back on the ground. Take another round, 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 take another round. Thank you all so much.
Hey, our guest this evening on Red Barn Radio is Lance Rogers. Lance is here with a great band. He's got Jamie Gaddis playing upright bass, Don Parker doing the old-time shuffle back there on the drums, Chelsea Parker next to me doing fiddle, and then Trevor St. John back there chicken picking on the lead guitar. I don't know if that's what you really call chicken picking, but I always like the sound of that phrase. That's sort of an Albert Lee thing, right? Wasn't he the original chicken picker? He's not by a mic, so he's sort of nodding and laughing. Hey, but I do want to start, Lance, by talking about where you grew up. You're in Berea now.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I was raised there too.
Oh, you
born and
were?
raised in Berea, Kentucky.
Oh, all right. So tell me about that. How did you and your family land in Berea?
My parents lived in Texas for a while. My brother was born down there, and then they moved to Berea in the 70s, and they had me.
What was it that drew them to Berea from Texas?
They were kind of like doing missionary work. So, Berea was kind of a good community to start out in, and so they moved there and got involved in like starting up a church and everything. So.
Huh. Oh, wow. Did you have some pretty fond memories from your kidhood living in Berea?
I do.
Quaint
Yeah,
little town.
I mean, just a quiet street I lived on. I mean, had a lot of neighborhood kids. We'd ride bikes in the summertime, play baseball. I mean, just a stereotypical neighborhood in a small town, and it was a great way to live. And I mean, the neighborhood's still the same. I live a couple miles from it, and drive back in there every once in a while just to remember some things. But pretty good childhood. I always figured my parents got my name Lance off the side of a truck that was parked in the neighborhood. It was like Lance snack delivery truck, So I saw that name. Nobody else in my class was named Lance, so I always have a bond with other Lances in the audience.
Well, very nice. I am very fond of the Lance product. It's like chocolate with a wafer, and it's got kind of a peanut buttery taste. Yeah, I eat those sometimes when I'm traveling. I have a very fond relationship with Lance as well. Well, I was going to ask you if Lance was a family name, and you already answered the question.
It's not. Yeah.
That's great. Are you a pretty nostalgic person?
I am.
Yeah, when I see you talking about, the first thing you said was that it's nice when you go back to that neighborhood. It's still the same. Do you like it when things sort of stay the same?
I'm kind of the family historian. I love genealogy and finding out who lived in the past and why I am the way I am. And it's funny, like the further back you go, you see like the stories get fewer and fewer, but there's personality traits and different talents and abilities and even I don't know, some things that happen in your life sometimes, your scenario that gets set up.
Yeah.
You can find out a lot by going back. So yeah, I'm nostalgic. I like keeping that alive too and keeping those stories going.
Yeah. So so have you delved into your family, your genealogy a bit?
I have.
Yeah, and so have you found out much about relatives of yours who played music?
Most of the music is on my mom's side of the family, the Dalton side.
Uh-huh.
There was a couple guitar players on the Rogers side, but most of it was from mom's side, the Daltons. But I've got a couple. I got a great uncle that he was in a band called the Whippoorwills years ago. It's like a Western
nice.
swing band.
Down in Texas?
No, that was in Eastern Kentucky. All the Daltons are from Bell County, Kentucky.
Okay.
So they lived there. He started that band up, and they got pretty big. They were playing with Roy Rogers, the Sons of the Pioneers. They were on tour with them out in California, and so they had a pretty good run at it. And then rock and roll hit. But Western swing, it wasn't as in fashion at the time, so they kind of took a break. Then on my that was Doug Dalton. His sister, Dorothy, my grandpa's sister, she was married to a guy named Buford Abner who wrote Long White Line. But they met down in Knoxville, Tennessee at a radio station. She was in a band called the Sunshine Girls or the Sunshine Sisters, and that's how they met at the radio station. And then they ended up getting married. And but yeah, there's some music in there. And I kind of regretted the fact that I got into music late because my grandpa would have loved the fact that I picked a guitar up and started writing my songs and had a band. And that means a lot to me. That hopefully he can see it from somewhere.
I was going to say he'll find out.
Yeah.
So when exactly did you get into it? Was it before you finished high school, or?
I did take a guitar class in high school. I had to take my guitar to school with me, and the guitar that I took was my great-grandfather's. It was a 1925 Weissenborn. Had no idea how valuable it was. You're always like, leave it in the hallway out, going to class, and my guitar class was the last one of the day. But that's where I was able to pick out things pretty quick. They taught me how to read music, which I completely forgot how to now. But that was my first picking guitar up and feeling frustrated and not knowing really. I started trying to write a song, and I just, I broke up with a girlfriend down in Florida, and I tried to write a song about it, and it just didn't work. It wasn't the right time for it. But with music, I'd always had a guitar around, I guess. When I had lost my job doing HVAC, so I started my own business. So I had a lot of time to myself. So I went and bought a guitar, and I learned a few cover songs. And, one day I decided to put a cover song out there on the internet and got a lot of good feedback from it.
How long ago?
That was about 2017.
Okay.
2016, 2017.
5 years ago.
And then I wrote my first song in 2018.
And so when you put that out there, did you get some feedback that was encouraging for you and kind of made you go like, hey, I'm going to do it again?
It did. Yeah, that was what really motivated me, because I was, I don't know, when you put yourself out there like that, you write a song, it could be bad. I mean, but everybody's telling me it was good, so I was like, well, they like that one, I'll write another one. And it just kept progressing like that. And Angela Oldfield from Pickup Country there in Irvin, she heard it, and she's like invited me on the Bluegrass Breakout. So I had a handful of songs that I did there, and I kept getting good results like that. And so and everybody, I had some good friends come up to me that were musicians, and they were like, man, it's good stuff. You got to keep going with it.
Yeah.
And so I did.
And so are you critical of yourself? So you're putting those tunes out there and kind of waiting to see what the feedback is. By the time you get it out there, are you feeling like, you know what? I really like this tune. I really like what I wrote. I like the music, and I'll be thrilled if people like it, but if they don't, I'm just going to still like it. Is that how you are?
There's some truth to that. I mean, I usually I have to wait for inspiration to even write a song. So I already kind of like it, but if I have a feeling that I want to portray, or an event, or just a story that I want to tell, and I start writing it down, sometimes it doesn't always like appeal to everybody, but yeah, for me to put it out there, I mean, it's going to be something that I like. I mean, I have a lot of songs that I really don't like, and I'll come back to those and work on them a little bit here and there. But overall, the ones that I do put out there, I just hope somebody else likes them.
So the songs that you don't like, is it typically because there's a lyric that you feel kind of compromises, or a lyric that you feel is just sort of there for the rhyme? Or
Yeah, I mean, it can be plain, too plain. Everything's already been done and said, but I'd like to find a unique way to say it. And if I feel like a song is it's already been done 100,000 times, it's like, I don't want to do it. So those are some songs I kind of wait for, half the time I get inspired just driving around, from job to job, and sometimes in gigs late at night when driving home, I'll have an inspiration for a song or a lyric, or something I picked up in a conversation. I'm thinking about it, and I'll just put it in my phone real quick. Something unique. But I'm not saying I write like all unique songs. I mean, there are several songs that are just plain, and I think a lot of artists are like that, where they put things out there, and sometimes those songs go up the charts. There's no rhyme or reason to it sometimes, but I always hope that when I put something out there, it's going to have an effect on somebody.
sometimes, yeah, I think sometimes, right, you find artists who maybe seem to have a quest to create such unique stuff that it kind of becomes that clever quest, right? It's
Right.
Like how clever can I be? And listeners, like you say, maybe at times just want to hear somebody sort of just voice something they're feeling.
Exactly. I
You
mean, it's
know,
kind of
and-
like, car design for years. Everything was real huge and, streamlined. They went through the streamline, and then all of a sudden it got real boxy there for a while.
Uh-huh.
It was like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I like this now. And then, and every once in a while you get a wave back to where it's a little bit of retro look or whatever. But some songs are like that too. I mean, the pendulum swings back and forth. That's
It
why
does, doesn't it?
I don't try to get too upset when I hear some, pop country on the radio, because I know, there's a lot of people that love that, and then it's going to swing back the other way to more traditional, and it's always going to be that way.
Huh. Do you get some inspiration when you're out on your motorcycle? I assume you ride.
I do, but
ride a lot?
I just sold it, but I just sold it. Yeah, because I wasn't riding it enough, and but yeah, there for a while that was my time to myself, and I spent a lot of time, I put a lot of miles on that thing, and did a lot of thinking, wrote a lot of songs on those back roads.
So
I'd have to
you'd-
pull over on the side of the road and put it in my phone real quick. That was, but it was very therapeutic to me, and just to get out there and unwind.
Yeah, you talk about riding on those sort of rural roads you've never been on, and in your last song you were talking about that, and I was kind of imagining you being a real dedicated cyclist.
Well, it was a motorcycle, so it's like,
Yeah.
you get the first time you ride one, you're scared of it a little bit, and then after a while it becomes part of you, and then that's when the real good times come. You're thinking about, you're able to let your mind drift a little bit. I mean, you got to be careful on a motorcycle, number one, but there was times when I was just, I had things going on outside of that world that I was in at that time, that little bubble on that motorcycle. Had things going on at that time in my life that I needed to get away from for a second and just catch my breath, because there's a lot of changes that were happening, and that motorcycle was sort of, that song was about living life how you want to.
Yeah.
And when you're raised very strict, when you're raised very controlled, there's a certain point in your life where it's like, hey, this ain't working for me anymore. And that motorcycle was sort of a symbol of that. I had a lot of friends and family that were concerned when I bought that thing, and they're like,
Sure.
"You're gonna get killed on it. You're gonna wreck." And it's like all this. I did wreck 3 times. I picked it right back up and got on it.
I was had a helmet on, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't DOT approved though. It was bad. So that was another reason I sold it. It got to the point where I was like, you know what? If I wreck and I injure myself, it could be game over for a while. And it's like, I don't need that right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean
right.
I'm not going to get one again in the future, but I mean, for now, it's like I need to focus on other things.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You were talking earlier about when you were in school and you first picked up the guitar, and how you felt like you were kind of wrestling and fighting with it. The way that you leaned into your motorcycle, you said it sort of becomes part of you. Did you have a similar experience with the guitar, where you felt that the two of you came together and you could stop thinking about the instrument and just play it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is a time, I mean, I still don't consider myself a musician, because I really don't know that I can play the guitar, honestly. Like I I have a handful of chords that I'd play.
Well,
know
you
what I
just
mean?
played the guitar for 5 songs.
Right, but I see people that they've been playing it for years and years and years, and they don't have to think about what they're playing. I want to get to that point, but yeah, I mean, I wake up now. Half the time my guitar is in the bed with me, right next to me, in the case.
Sweet.
But I'll wake up first thing in the morning. I'll grab a cup of coffee, grab that guitar, and go on the front porch. And at the end of the night, half the time I'm playing a song or trying to think of something before I go to bed. I've done that before. I'll go to bed thinking about something and wake up and write a song. So I try to. Those magical things happen every once in a while.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm talking to Lance Rogers, and he's here with his band on Red Barn Radio. Lance is from Berea, and he has a new self-titled, well, relatively new, self-titled album that's doing well, and he's playing a lot of tunes from that tonight. Welcome back, Lance Rogers, to Red Barn Radio.
Thank you. This next song is just going to be Jamie and I on upright bass. It's called Lost You. This is another one that I wrote not too long ago. Hoping to get it out fairly soon. Let me tune it up so I don't lose you. All right, Lost You.
Mm-hmm.
Coming home to an empty place doesn't get easy. It's easy to stay away, but isn't that why I'm here now? I took you for granted, I lost you somehow. Late nights, bar rooms, excuses of a fool. In my mind, there would always be me and you. But isn't that why I'm here now? I took you for granted, lost you somehow. Oh, I lost myself, and I lost you. You know I held dandelions in the wind before my wish. You flew away, my friend. But isn't that why I'm here now? I took you for granted, I lost you somehow. the rest of the sun to burn away these clouds. Wouldn't take you for granted a second time round. Well, maybe that's why I'm here now. Yeah, that's why I'm here now. Thank y'all so much. That was one of those songs that came home one night, wrote that thing probably in 20 minutes, and it just poured out. Does that every once in a while. This next one is called These Words. This is in drop D tuning. You ever pass by those church signs in the back country that kind of make you feel guilty when you read them? This song is about the guy that changes those signs. I passed a guy who's actually physically changing the sign. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe that's the job that he doesn't really want. I mean, there's a lot of self-righteous things that you can see on signs like that. So I wrote this song called These Words. It's my job to change the sign out front the church. Why can't it just stay the same? The preacher man lets me figure out the words, so he don't feel the blame. Something catchy, not so funny, makes you laugh. Guilty reflection in the lights. Self-assurance to the righteous I decree. But how can I judge wrong or right? Heaven only knows why I'm even here. As clever as I sing, these words just ain't me. I took the letters stacked up in a cardboard box, and I put them in my truck. Drove to the river asking good Lord for a sign, and I threw them in the lock. Heaven only knows why I'm even here. As clever as I sing, these words just ain't me. No, heaven only knows why I'm even here. As clever as I sing, these words just ain't me.
Thank y'all so much. That one's actually on the album. There's a lot of these songs that aren't on the album. This next one's is on there. This one's called Echoes. Chelsea's gonna join us back on the fiddle. This song Echoes is a personal one. Some of these are real life.
Right.
I was also listening to a lot of George Jones at the time. That probably influenced it. I had a dream that George Jones met me in this hallway in heaven, I'm assuming. And he said, "Son, you ain't ready for this place yet, but when you are, we're going to go on tour together." And he gave me a down payment. This song's called Echoes. Never knew this house would feel so cold, with the pictures off the wall. You took the TV and rolled the rugs off the floor, took the couches and all. I cried so much that I'm not sad anymore. Write these songs and play guitar. Memories roam round the room and rattle the door, but I ain't heard these echoes before. The sound of your laughter as you said I do, anxious elation when our tests turn blue, the cries in your pillow when I come home late, the moment you wish me the best. Echoes are all that you left. Where the table was, it's just empty floor. There ain't so much as a goddamn chair. Can even tell that you lived here before, but I hear you everywhere. I cry so much that I'm not sad anymore. Write these songs and play guitar. Memories roam round the room and rattle the door, but I ain't heard these echoes before. The sound of your laughter as you said I do, anxious elation when that test turned blue, the cries in your pillow when I'd come home late, the moment you wish me the best. Echoes, echoes, echoes are all that you left. Thank y'all so much.
Hey, we've got lots more music and conversation with Lance Rogers, but I would like to take a minute to remind listeners of a couple of things. One, Red Barn live streams, both tonight's and on any Wednesday, remain available online for you to view at your convenience on the Red Barn YouTube channel. And second of all, our live video stream is also available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream, compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of our program, and be sure to tell people what it is that you like about the Red Barn Radio experience. Hey, and now for next week, with roots embedded in the Colorado Rocky Mountains and a sound unhinged in the capital of Texas, Shovelin' Stone, our guest next week, is a music almost as unique as the friendship it stems from. A shared passion for old-timey bluegrass is what brought Mackenzie Willix and Zach Thrall together, but what they also share is joy for the moment and a can-do attitude of dealing with complications that life and work brings. This is a great formula for longevity in the music field, they tell me, and Shovelin' Stone wants their audiences to dance while they are thinking. With the addition of multi-talented bassist, cellist, and mandolin player Russick Smith and rock drummer Brett Throgmorton, Shovelin' Stone is gearing up to release their sophomore album recorded with Grammy-winning producer Chance McCoy of the Old Crow Medicine Show. So that's next week. Shovelin' Stone on Red Barn Radio. Red Barn Radio. Listen to the live. Let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the grand city of Lexington, Kentucky. Please welcome back Lance Rogers to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you. It's great to be here. This next song is the first one I ever put out there, and it's on the album. It's called Outside the Lines. She took a long, slow draw off a Pall Mall in the shadows of a Friday night bleacher. One Converse chuck up against the pole. She was happy where no one could reach her. She kinda dug the way I wore my hair and the T-tops on my old Trans Am. I thought about her when I chose what to wear, 'cause she likes ripped jeans and Ray-Bans. Outside, where the wild things run. Outside, we were children of the sun. Outside, where only we knew where. We got what we wanted, didn't know we needed. Didn't care about the lines we cheated. Outside. Never let on about her lightning eyes, but she never wanted to go home. The faster we drove down memory lane, the tougher her James Dean Harwood grove. Some nights we'd walk the railroad tracks down to the river grist mill, and wonder if we were the only ones living for the moment and off the rails. Outside, where the wild things run. Outside, we were children of the sun. Outside, where only we knew where. We got what we wanted, didn't know we needed. Didn't care about the lines we cheated. Outside. Every now and then I drift back to that spray paint summer. The full moon nights, the overpass, living life like a Lake Cliff jumper. Looking back, it's only now I understand why she
cried when I held her hand. Outside where the wild things run. Outside we were children of the sun. Outside where only we knew where. We got what we wanted, didn't know we needed, didn't care about the lines we cheated. Outside. Thank y'all so much. This next one is it's kind of about growing up in Berea, Kentucky, back in the 80s. This one, it's called Flying on Mama's Feet. I went to sleep one night thinking about a memory that I had with her as a little tiny kid. Parents do sometimes, they'll lay on their back and put their kids up on their feet. That's what this is about. Just the feeling I had as being a kid. Mama grabbed my hand, said, hold on tight, and took me on a living room flight. I flew around the world on the soles of her feet. Treetop flying, my life was complete. When I was a child, my world was small. Neighborhood backyard had it all. I climbed my treehouse and felt the breeze. BMX baseball, skinned up knees. That was my whole world, small as it could be. In 1983, flying on Mama's feet. Daddy let out a whistle when the sun sank low. The street lights kicked on, time to go. Better get home for Mama yells my name. See y'all tomorrow, high fives and rusted chains. That was my whole world, small as it could be. In 1983, flying on Mama's feet. The mama, she can't hold me anymore. I still see her lying on the floor. Early days not knowing what or why. She taught me how to fly. I run out the door when the sun comes up. The street lights kicked on, time to go. Better get home for Mama yells my name. Days click by like baseball cards in slow. Thank y'all so much. This next one is one that I wrote called Troubadour's Checklist. It's back before I even played my first gig, and I just written a handful of songs. And this was like kind of a goofy thing to like come up with a list of things I thought I needed to get before I went on the road. So here it is, Troubadour's Checklist. Let me get my pick real quick. All right.
Hold for a second. Let's not change it back.
Oops. I'd been watching I was watching a live stream. This musician had got on there on a live stream on Facebook, and he'd been touring for a long time, and he was just doing the live, just playing acoustic guitar. And I noticed every time he had a different hat on, or sometimes he didn't have a hat on at all. I was like, I gotta get a hat, And then the hat that I wear on my album cover
was one that I got from Connie Collingsworth. She put it up for sale, and I was like, that thing looks like the hat that I want. And she's like, well, it may not fit. It's like, I'm going to buy it, and I'll try it on. So we worked out a trade and a little bit of cash. She sent me the hat. It fit perfectly, and it's the one that I wear on my album cover. But that, I think hats come to you when they're supposed to. All right, Troubadour's checklist. Gotta find a hat. Gotta find a hat. I need a way if it's heaven. Hold on. Can I start over? I gotta get this right. All right, Troubadour's checklist. Take 2. Gotta find a hat, gotta find a hat. Already have a nice guitar and a great little lamp. I've got a blue jean jacket, a dart and a map, a pair of broken boots to wear. Now all I need's a hat. Gotta find a van, gotta find a van. I need a way to get to gigs and travel across the land. Real good place to keep my gear, hash out all my plans. My pickup truck don't make the cut, I've got to find a van. Second guess it all the time, but I'm standing on the edge. If I don't take this leap of faith, I'll die with the regrets. Never giving my songs a chance, floating on out the door. Gonna get my things together and be an old troubadour. Gotta grow a stash, gotta grow a stash. If I don't have a handlebar, they will surely laugh. I'll grow out both my sideburns and even pair to match. My hair down past my collar, but I've gotta grow a stash. Gotta find a girl, gotta find a girl that treats me like a rock star and then wrecks my entire world. She'll help me write sad songs from my heart as tough as pearl. I can't do this on my own, I've gotta find a girl. Or I can just keep working, putting holes in all these gloves, digging dishes for a company till I fall and get covered up. Or I can take my worries, write them all down in a book, be a rambling troubadour up the bite down on the hook. Second guess it all the time, but I'm standing on the edge. If I don't take this leap of faith, I'll die with the regrets. Never giving my songs a chance, floating on out the door. Gonna get my things together and be an old troubadour. Thank you all so much.
All right. All right, let's talk some more. I'm with these guys from Berea and All About. I know they are not all from there, but many of them have been on the show before. Lance Rogers from Berea is here with Jamie Gaddis, Don Parker, Chelsea Parker. Hey, related? Yes. Oh, all right. It never occurred to me.
Brother
right.
and sister.
Right. Oh, all right. Very nice. And Trevor St. John playing lead guitar back there. Nice job. Wow. So, Lance, one thing that occurred to me was Outside the Lines the tune you said was the first tune you ever put out there?
Yes, that was
right.
it.
So, I just got to say, there's some beautiful lyrics in there. I mean, it seemed that right away, if that was the first tune that you put out there, it's no wonder you got a good reception on it.
I appreciate that.
I mean, the line, I tried to write it down. About the girl smoking the Pall Mall cigarette in the light of the bleacher, the light of the Friday Night Lights, right?
Yep.
Or in the bleacher.
She took a long, slow draw off a Pall Mall in the shadows of a Friday night bleacher.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. And there were more lyrics in that song. Just really struck me, and just great images.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, when you got to the point where you wrote that song, was there somebody out there who you felt was a mentor to you as a writer? So, and I mean, even somebody who came along and said, you know what, you really make some great observations and have some good thoughts.
There, when I put my first songs out there, and this, when I say the first song I ever put out there, it means like the one that I went to the studio and recorded and put out there.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So I had written several songs before that, and I'd put them out on social media.
The ones we talked about before. That
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And so one day I noticed there was a professional songwriter that started following me on Instagram, and I could never get that out of my head. I went and checked his profile out, and was like, man, this is legit. It was surprising to me. And so
Was it surprising, like as in somebody that you knew about?
I didn't know about him, but when I realized that he'd been in Nashville, he'd been doing the thing, he'd been writing songs, and he was an artist and he's I was like, this guy might know if I can write or not. And so I was out on the lawnmower. It's out when I lived in Waco, Kentucky for a while. I was out on the lawnmower, and I just had this overwhelming feeling. I was like, okay, I'm going to send him a song and have him pick it apart and see if he will. And so I stopped the mower. I sent him a message on Instagram, and so I put my phone back in my pocket, put my music back on, and was mowing the grass. I mean, I'm talking 15 seconds later, I hear a ding. He's like, sure thing. He's like, send me a song. And he told me, he was like, man, you have raw talent, is what he told me. And so that gave me all the motivation I needed. He was like, let's write a song. So we, later that night, he's like, here's one I've been working on. See what you can do with it. So he sent me a kind of an idea and some fragments of like a verse. And so I wrote another verse and a chorus, and I sent it back to him. He's like, yeah, this is it. He's like, let's write another one. So he sent me another idea, and we wrote two in one day. And so like there was some chemistry there. It was like and you can't do that with every songwriter, but he was working for a publishing company on Music Row. He hooked me up with them, and so we got our first single song contract through Banner Music on Music Row. And I say a song that we wrote together. He had a bunch of them, but that was fire to me. Like that motivated me to just, okay, this can work. And it kind of validated everything to my family and my friends that were like, what's he going through? You know what I mean?
Really? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, maybe I'm insinuating that, but I really feel like they were like, man, he's going through something crazy right now because all of a sudden he's a songwriter and a singer. But it was motivation to me to be like, okay, some professionals think I'm good. It's not just my family's being like, oh yeah, that's pretty good, whatever. So it definitely motivated me. It was wind in my sails, kept me moving. And so we ended up writing a bunch more. I got several floating around Nashville. Hopefully somebody will cut them. But in the meantime, I'm writing my own stuff. The songs that I write for Nashville, those are ones that I'm not really attached to. It's just, you know what I mean? That's the way it is.
Well, it seems like you're in a pretty good space, like the sort of narratives that you have going on in your brain and that are sort of your operative thoughts for your life right now are pretty positive.
Yeah, I have a strong vision of where I want to go, and I haven't stopped. And it's like I don't know. There's certain things that you think about a lifetime. I told you about I'm a family historian, like genealogies and things like that. I always stop when somebody has an interesting story and I want to investigate it more. And there's so many names in a family that nobody knows anything about. like basically when they were born and when they died and where they lived. But I figure after I'm gone, I want to leave a good story, so somebody will take the time to check me out.
Huh. So I wonder if you might talk a little bit about sort of challenges, maybe obstacles that you have encountered as an artist, sort of breaking out and getting your stuff out there. Could you address that at all? And I like to make the distinction between challenges and obstacles. Obstacles, something in the way, right? Versus challenges, maybe just kind of a mountain to climb.
Yeah, I think some of my challenges were early on. Maybe I don't know, like some of. I mean, a lot of doors have opened up, right up. Challenges early on. I think maybe getting comfortable on stage, things like that. That could have been like I could have been hesitant to want to do that, but
How'd you
once I
overcome
got the
it?
feel of it, I mean, the religion I was in as a child. I was on stage all the time, like giving talks to the congregation and
You mean
things
like
like
giving
that.
your testimony kind
Yeah,
of thing?
just,
Okay.
I was giving like sermons and things like that.
Oh,
Yes, from the time I was 5 years old, I was on a stage, all the way up till not too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
what does a 5-year-old have to teach a congregation?
It's a theocratic ministry school, they call it. So they teach you how to read the Bible and they teach you how to talk to other people.
Oh, okay.
And so that was not a challenge. I'm trying to think of a challenge. I mean, honestly, there were some. I guess family was probably the biggest challenge, taking me seriously.
So you
It's
mean
something-
that idea of you mean for you reconciling changes in your sort of ideas about faith and that
Yeah,
stuff,
'cause-
or
Because like the way that I was raised, we were not supposed to basically put ourselves out first. We were supposed to like serve others and talk to people at their house about the Bible and things like that. So for me to put so much emphasis on myself, putting myself center stage with the microphone and singing, and that was all it was vanity. You know what I mean? So a lot of people they didn't like it. Even growing a beard, we weren't supposed to have a beard. I grew a beard out. So it was this breaking away from the way that I was raised. But music was what I needed. It was an outlet. It gave me some freedom. And I knew once I started, this is what I'm supposed to do.
any obstacles that you feel like came other ones that sort of came from within you? Or is that really where you're going? Where you've been going with this is just
Well, I mean, like, I guess self-doubt sometimes is very difficult for an artist to overcome. But I realized very early on that when you start doubting, when you start putting that negative energy in there, it's moving everything out. So it's the center stage. So I'm very careful with what I say. I try to keep very motivated, very positive, keep my visions and my dreams in clear focus. Because what I've seen is like whatever you dwell on, whatever you think you are. And so you can be whatever you want to. I mean, we tell little kids that. And I felt like a kid in some ways because for the first time I was doing what I wanted to. And so once I saw what I wanted to do, I just haven't turned back, and I just I have this drive and this motivation, and we'll see where it goes. But I have a good feeling.
We have really beautiful songs, and
Thank you.
Yeah, I just love listening and thinking about what you're dealing with there and talking about. Love for you to introduce the band.
Jamie Gaddis is to my right. She's on the upright bass. She, hell of a musician, one of my best friends. She's always there. She will tell me what I need to hear. Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but she tells it.
Well, what kind of things does he need to hear, Jamie?
He's in good shape tonight.
All right, good.
She keeps me in line.
Jamie, where are you from?
I'm originally from Knox County, Kentucky, but I live in Richmond now.
And how did you guys meet?
Through music, actually. It was probably 4 or 5 years ago. We were watching a show, and someone introduced us, and I booked him for a little show at Kentucky Horse Park. I was the event manager back then, and I booked him on spot the night I met him. So we've just been friends ever since and playing music and messing around. And then last year he invited me to really start playing with him, and that's kind of all she wrote. So I've been playing a lot with him over the past year.
And that was one of the first gigs that I ever had, because the friends that introduced us, they were like, hey, she can book you on this gig. And Jamie looked at me, she was like, can you play 2 hours? I said, yeah. I'd never played 2 hours straight in my life. I was like, yeah, I can do it.
Oh, yeah.
So she booked me, and I was like, I just did it. And that kind of, the way that she handled that booking, it made me feel, it forced me into it in a way to just go ahead and do a 2-hour set. And I didn't have 2 hours worth of originals. I had maybe 30, 40 minutes of originals at that point.
Well, she didn't ask you to do 2 hours of originals, right? She just said 2 hours of music, right?
2 hours of music, but
Right.
I mean, like, I think the event space was probably, they wanted originals, but as people walking by as they're going through the horse park, and I was there
Sure.
with my own. I had to go out and buy a PA because I didn't have one. I just bought like a real cheap PA.
You mean Jamie didn't provide one for you?
I
Nope.
did it. I did the whole thing. That was exactly what I needed at the time.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Hey, how about everybody else on the stage? Tell us about the
Chelsea
others.
Parker is right here on fiddle.
Yeah.
She's from Berea, Kentucky, as well. We got Dawn Parker on drums, brother and sister
Yeah.
from Berea as well. We all live within like probably a block or two from each other, honestly.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And then Trevor St. John back there. He's with the band Bedford, and one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life.
Well, all right. Well, you guys have done a great job tonight. We are so glad that, Lance, you could bring all these fine people with you to Red Barn Radio to play tonight. We've enjoyed your music, and I'm really glad that it's not over yet. Let's welcome back Lance Rogers to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us all. This next song is called High and Dry. I wrote this one with Jonathan Newsom and Jeremy Stevenson. On the stove, she left her keys and told me I was hard to please. She said I'm gone, more than I'm whole, and this chase for fame's why I'm alone. The neon lights at the honky tonks, they pull at me more than she wants. It's hard to see what lies ahead, but darling girl, it ain't our bed. But she said fame ain't gonna be there when you're cold and all alone. She'll sneak on out the back door lest you feed her with your soul. And she'll move on to the next one just before you get your right. And you can't bet that I won't be there when she leaves you high and dry. I don't admit when I am wrong, but where I went I don't belong. Darling girl, I'm on my knees, and don't forget I got your key. But she said fame ain't gonna be there when you're cold and all alone. She'll sneak on out the back door lest you feed her with your soul. And she'll move on to the next one just before you get your ride. But you can't bet that I won't be there when she leaves you high and dry. Fame is like the lightning that lights the evening sky. It's best to watch it from your porch, let it pass on by.
when she leaves you high and dry. Oh, you can bet that I won't be there when she leaves you high and dry. Thank you so much. That song, I almost call it The Chase for Fame, and ended up high and dry. This next one's called Coyotes Cry. It's on the album. I lived in, like I said, I lived in Waco, Kentucky for a little while, and on this cattle farm. And my old landlord, he's up in his upper 80s, and he would every once in a while get on his old tractor. And he had really high-end, like John Deere and fully enclosed tractors, but every once in a while I'd see him on this old 1940-something tractor. And I always thought, you know, what's going through his mind? It's just the years pass by, you lose people in death, and, you know, you try to have a little fun here and there. But this song's called Coyotes Cry. It's about that. Plowing fields of dust, praying for some rain. A normal man would crush under all the weight, mending holes in fences. Nothing else runs away. He's crying with the coyotes, like they can't feel his pain. And there's a full moon tonight, and all his work is done. They pull out the mason jar, try and have some fun. He'll go howling at the moon, in the sky. 'Cause oh, the world feels better when it's howling in the moonshine. The seasons came and went, and family and friends return to the earth now, behind an iron fence. There's nothing he can do now. It's in the winter of his life. He's shaking off the frost now, and joins the coyotes cry. Is done. They pull out the mason jars and try to have some fun. He'll go howling at the moon and flow around in the sky. 'Cause oh, the world feels better when it's howling in the moonshine. In the moonshine. There's darkness all around us, the day turned to the night. Everybody finds their own way to the light. And there's a full moon tonight, all our work is done. Let's pull out the mason jar, try to have some fun. Let's go howling at the moon and flow around in the sky. 'Cause all the world feels better when it's out in the moonshine. High in the moonshine. High in the moonshine. High in the moonshine. You know, the great thing, thank you so much. The great thing about having a great band is that they recover very well when you mess up. I appreciate every single person on this stage. This next song, I'm going to change the tuning up a little bit. This is a this song called Board in the Holler. It is also on the album. All right. No rooster to wake me up this morning. Wild dogs out on the collar. Trail of feathers bid me take warning. I don't blame the brawler, 'cause in the rocky shadows it gets ghost cold. Makes the devil crack and waller. Feed the wolves just what they want. When you get bored, back in the holler. Backwoods brave, Cherokee mind. I'd do anything for my brother. Everybody knows we run moonshine. Recipe down from our mother. The ground dried up when they stopped the train. Couldn't make an honest dollar, but you find a way to make it rain. When you get bored in the holler, down rocky shadows it gets ghost cold. Makes the devil crack and waller. Feed the wolves just what they want. When you get bored, back in the holler. I got cousins on every state line. I got friends at every border. My Hollywood baby, she don't mind a laugh or crying, 'cause this old outlaw, he can't afford her. In the rocky shadows it gets ghost cold. Makes the devil crack and waller. Feed the wolves just what they want. When you get bored, back in the holler. Bored in the holler. Thank you all so much.
All right. Well, there are so many people to thank for our program. First, Lance Rogers and his band, our guests this evening. We're ever grateful for our volunteers and staff who make our production happen so beautifully each week. That's John and Matt and Kate and Forrest and Melinda and Eric, and of course our producer Ed Commons. And we want to thank all of you for listening to our webcast, watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests and our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. Now, before we close out tonight's program, let's bring back Lance Rogers to send us home with one more number.
All right. Thank you so much. I just want to say real quick, thank you for making this happen. This is an amazing experience. And to everybody tuning in out there, thank you so much. I'm getting ready to release a new song next Friday called Pretty Gone. And you can get my album out there. It's already out there wherever you stream and wherever you buy music. This song is called Green Empire. It's about two pot farmers that were having a relationship problem.
You're a hard woman, I'm a hard man. You're a she-gator, we're rolling in the sand. We're both trying to do the best we can. Nothing ever comes easy when you're working the land. When you're growing the good stuff, can't even trust a friend. Cold hearts and calloused hands. We built this grain empire when love was high. Now it's coming down when you're driving me wild. Green Empire. Girl, I'm a flame, and you are the breeze. But this fire, it's burning all the trees. A dead cash crop bring it to your knees. 'Cause I know every woman in town. They've been saying that you have been getting around. But I run this place, can't make no sound. 'Cause we built this green empire when love was high. Now it's coming down, but you're driving me wild. Green Empire.
so much. Well, that was fun.
All right. Well, that's all for our show for this week on Red Barn Radio. You can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archived performances on Spotify and iTunes, and you can watch mountains of video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Hey, and remember this, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring roots music Southern style to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists are performing in your area, get out there and hear them live. They need you now more than ever. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.